Welcome to the video where I talk about my November finished pictures. The big moment of November was the finish of Around the World, book by Russell Hampson. I unfortunately don't remember when I started it, but I have all color-long videos from this book in one separate playlist, so it's possible to discover. I think that I spent maybe a year, maybe longer, and in the beginning I thought that I can color this book in order. Very quickly I realized that it's impossible, so I colored pictures which inspired me the most. In the end, I had to color 3 pages. The first one, it's my favorite for November among those 3. This one was relatively easy. Every time when I need to do big marker background, I am really not very confident in my own skills and in colors which I combine, but here everything worked quite well, exactly how I wanted. A slightly darker outer frame, inner frame around the board, and this icy water also looks quite nice. So with this one I am quite happy. My traditional combo of Ohuhu markers and polychromos pencils. Next two, well, they are not as impressive. This one was probably the least favorite. Maybe that's because I already have several similar pictures where Mr. Fogarty and Snail are traveling in a boat. I already did a couple of such pictures. Of course, here I tried to think about traditional Egyptian colors for landscape, for board also, but my markers didn't want to help me. One marker finished exactly in top right corner when I did sky, and my greenish water, it's more suitable probably for Maldives Islands rather than Nile River. But anyway, I did it and that's okay. I don't have to love all pictures equally to be inspired of them. I finished it and I was happy. The third was the most detailed in the whole book, and well, here I started from the easiest part, from Mr. Fogarty. I decided that if they participate in circus, then I can do probably the most distasteful, the most laughable costume. Of course, green frog in pink suit, it's something not very fashionable, but for circus it was perfect. I deliberately did it. I laughed myself when I colored frog in pink. Here, as usual, I absolutely love Snail with just his eyes. He is capable to show all his feelings about this flying snail circus. And here it was my happy discovery that the background I can color with Derwent color softs. I love red colors and orange colors in color softs. I already used them for other pictures, so I remember that it's totally possible to use color softs on this paper if you don't need to do any complicated layering or shading. So their vibrant red colors helped me with the background. Ohuhu markers helped me to do this relatively dark background. That's also color soft, and the rest it's polychromos as usual. Well, I think that it's nice final page. Again, not very inspiring, and for such page I think that result looks quite nice. In the beginning of the month I still tried to remind myself that it's autumn season and I can do at least several fall pictures. I have so many lovely fall pictures in my books, but never have enough time. I need to do yearly start for Christmas pictures if I want to do also my lovely Christmas plans. But several autumn pictures I managed to do in November. I finally started Dragon Spell. Of course, I planned to do at least 2, maybe 3 pictures. Well, I did one and it's already a good start. Here I participated in Kolorowanka, Color with Ukraine, where we did pictures with gemstones. Maybe here gemstones, they are not the focal point. Of course, the focal point is the dragon, but I still enjoyed doing those gemstones similar to amber. This watercolor, it's honey-based watercolors by Roman Schmal, and I applied them with smallest amount of water. So in the end, they look very opaque and even similar to gouache, but due to this honey binding in them, when I applied very thick layer, it's even shiny, not the look which I prefer. But I will remember that these watercolors I need to use with bigger amount of water, and if I want to get such effect, it's better to use gouache paints. When I colored it, I was preoccupied that it's a big similarity of colors for the dragon and for the surrounding mushrooms, but in the end I decided that actually maybe it's logical that the dragon is living in harmony with nature around. Maybe he blends between all this greenery, all those mushrooms, lives peacefully in this stupid night. I don't know why he decided to attack the dragon. Well, apart from this night idea, which I really dislike, I don't like this aggression, even if I am sure that this dragon, it will be able to snooze on the night and he will be the winner. Anyway, picture was lovely and I'm glad that I started this book. I definitely will try to return to it in January because for me it's one of the best in this series. Next, let's have a look at Nelco Neco, my loveliest favorite book, where recently all my pictures I did with combo of Prismacolor and Inktense pencils. This one I did in the same way. The whole area of grass here I did, and leaves also, I did with Derwent Inktense. They have plenty of lovely green colors, and for autumn in Inktense you can find lovely yellow-green shades, also very nice orange and yellow colors, and of course it's much quicker rather than doing the whole background in pencils. Here I really love how I did this slightly mystic or cloudy background with, I try to remember about rules of perspective when background colors have to be less intense and more cold in tone comparing to the foreground. I think that here it worked quite well. You can see the difference in color of the bark here, and vibrancy of grass here and here. So that's Prismacolors, and actually the rest it's Prismacolor pencils. I really love this part. It was probably why I decided to do this page. I wanted to color this wild grape. And of course cats are very lovely. Those sisters, they are my favorite characters in this book. But honestly, I love all pictures here, so all are my favorites. Very lovely. I am happy that I added several nice autumn pictures to my collection because I never have enough time for autumn season. We are switching to Leon's Journey, and I managed to do a spread. I'm very proud of myself because I really love both pictures here, and here I color with Prismacolors, so you can imagine that it was quite a long story, long color long, but I think that they look nice together even if it's totally different pictures. I had a lot of fun doing all those mushrooms here, most edible and not very edible, and lovely, charming country landscape in the middle. here I also used Derwent Color Softs. I can't say that I'm very charmed how they work on this paper. I simply used Color Softs. It was two shades, my favorite Loganberry, Cranberry colors, because I love them and I wanted this intensity. But they felt quite waxy. Prismacolors behave better on this paper, so for future I think that I will stick with Prismacolors, and enough of experimenting. The left page, it's definitely one of my best which I finished this year. I am proud how I colored horse. Maybe there are some logic faults in color selection. Maybe that was supposed to be inner part of the stable of premises, but when I decided to do dark horse with black mane, I realized that I don't need dark inner part of the stable. So for me it's not stable, it's maybe some kind of wall on the field, and behind the door, behind the wall, the horse has huge lovely lawn or field, and simply this blue color, it really attract attention and it immediately turns this horse into the focal point. But honestly, most of all, I am proud of my pomegranates. Apart from traditional pomegranate pencil from Prisma, I also added a little bit of brown and green colors, because I hope that it made the outer part of the pomegranate more realistic, and we have a lot of them, so I have plenty of areas to experiment which red pencils, which green pencils work the best for such look of pomegranates. Very lovely. I still try to find the best way how to color Leon, and apart from Leon, I think that everything else colored quite well. I do enjoy those stones where, apart from traditional gray colors, I added a little bit of cream, a little bit of ochre, green ochre, orange colors. So even with such boring background, it was interesting to color, and I think that it looks also quite lovely. Well, I can't believe that I did such a huge spread with pencils only, but on this great paper I absolutely enjoy to do even pencil backgrounds. Next one. So far I posted only one video from this spread, and it was the autumn girl, but I decided to show you my completed spread, because in a day or two I will post all videos, so you will see all the girls. Here mostly I used Prismacolors, but when I need some special colors I also added polychromoses, even my Mitsubishi Uno, which are still very demanding pencils, but at least for simple one color backgrounds they can be used. They have lovely colors, but I absolutely hate how they behave on almost all papers. At least here Mitsubishi you can use for such some areas. I got this idea from the hint from the artist. That's exactly the set which I own. I still don't know how it's possible to work with it on the whole page. Maybe one day I will try. But apart from being demanding to paper quality, they also hurt my hand. When I color with them, I feel I need to press harder, and my hand and arm, they tire much quicker comparing to any other pencils. Apart from those technical difficulties, I think that everything turned out quite well, so I hope that you will watch all videos for these girls. This book I also can recommend, very lovely, and if you love to color according to the season, here we also have winter, spring, summer pictures, and I especially love those pictures where we have more traditional costumes for the girl. Well, out of seasonal coloring, I did page in Alliance World by Kirby Razanes, my challenging book where I tend to use the most crazy color combos which I can imagine. And in November I did this one. So it's a story about planet where they collect and then trade various precious things. And here we have maybe it's accounting of those goods, maybe it's customs. Anyway, I wanted to show this mix of creature and digital banks, data banks. So that's what gave me idea of all those neon green, yellow colors, and I turned part of the body into those digital data store. Here probably my biggest question was which color to select for the background. In the end I think that peach, which I selected, it really complemented everything. It created slightly unusual look because blue background, it looks not very aligned, and I tried to use something unusual here for skies, for soil, for buildings. Here buildings are more traditional, but at least this peach sky, it looks interesting. And when I looked at the bottom part first, I was totally in shock. So many various things, and I already had this very colorful creature. In the end, I decided to do only several colorful objects, maybe the most interesting in shape. More primitive, more simple objects I did in very limited color palette, so they really look like part of the background. Also, I wanted to add a little bit of white paint to the creature, and I think that I applied like 10 times. I applied white Posca, white gel pen to create white eyes, but I did it on top of Dahlia purple, and pigment of Prismacolor Dahlia purple constantly ate white, so now it has pink eyes. I still don't know what to do, maybe to cut eyes from white paper and to glue. Apart from this laughable pink eyes, I think that page looks lovely. Every time when I color in this book, it's very thin border, very thin threshold between colorful and very creative and colorful and tasteless. I think that here I managed to keep this interesting alien look, very strange color combos, unusual combos, and still it doesn't look totally motley, probably thanks to this central part, which I really try to do in only a couple of colors, not very vibrant, more muted. So I am happy that I did this one, and of course it inspires me to do more in this book, but maybe not in December. I will return to it in January. In the middle of November I started my winter colorings. Sadly, in the second part of November my time for coloring was very limited. We have constant blackouts, and I honestly also didn't have desire to color. But let me show you a couple of pictures in winter book by Crystal Vogel. I love this book because of its smaller size, but despite the small size, due to huge amount of objects, you still need a lot of time to finish it. Here it was another experiment. I have this Polish watercolors, Roman Schmal, and color Misty Morning, nice granulating color. I decided to use for this background. On this smooth paper, granulation isn't very visible, but it still created this muted lavender color, very lovely. Now, of course, when I look at it, I think that something more dramatic, maybe something very dark blue, it would create better contrast to all those light blue snowmen. But it's not fun, because I already did a couple of pictures here with dark blue background, and I simply didn't want to repeat the same colors for each page. Well, lovely snowmen, it was fun to color them. The second one I did with mix of Arctics pencils and with polychromos. Arctics I decided to use for the background, for igloo also. What I dislike with Arctics here, they create such a waxy shine, very unpleasant. Well, now I can even feel it. Well, even if I sprinkled it with white on top, I still can feel this waxy feeling, whitish look, which appears usually the day after you finish to do it. Well, not great. The same thing could happen with Prismacolors also. Maybe it's because of very creamy, very soft wax-based pencils. And Arctics on this smooth paper, they give you very vibrant color, but be aware of this waxy finish, which I didn't mask even with that sprinkled white gouache. Well, that was slightly tiring to color. I think that when I did all those gnomes, I decided that I need a break. In December, I will return to this book, but after 2 pictures in a row, I need a break. Good thing is that this book I can also use in January and February, because apart from Christmas activities, we have here pictures dedicated to everyday winter life of this family of northern gnomes. So if I don't color it in December, I will do something in January or February. Of course, my main Christmas books, they are by Teresa Goodrich. In November, I colored Enchanted Christmas. In previous years, my favorite book was Christmas Charm. And here pictures, they looked more childish for me, but somehow this year I wanted to do something simple but festive. I started from this Santa car. It's all Prismacolors, pencils which I usually prefer on this paper. I think that it's similar to all my other Christmas pictures in Teresa books. A lot of pleasure, total relax from coloring, and yes, it helped me to start feeling this Christmas inspiration. And another one where I decided to experiment a little bit. I call it Forest Santa because of the colors which I used on the code. Here it's mix of Prismacolors, polychromoses, because I needed to get special color for the green code. And I also experimented how to color pine tree quickly, using first layer of markers and then adding details, texture with pencils and then with paint. Here the size of the pine tree isn't very big, so it was perfect for experimenting. Lovely page, I do love this one. So, 2 more pictures in Teresa Goodrich. And finally, I will show you Apple. It's 2nd volume of Forest Girl. I have this premium edition, and before I did only 1 page here, page where I used mostly Neocolor crayons and then polychromos pencils. When I selected page for this Christmas coloring, I looked at all those wooden and stone textures, and it's objects which I usually prefer to color with Prismacolors, especially wood. So I started to do Prismacolor background, and I was absolutely unhappy. They looked grainy. I wasn't able to cover texture of paper. It felt thick, but maybe too soft for Prisma. Also, it was very difficult to draw accurately small details. I quickly realized my problem and I switched after a couple of elements to polychromos, and my life started to be much easier. So mostly it's polychromos, only for some unique colors like beige sienna here or celadon or jade green I used added Prismacolor pencils. Definitely in this book I will try to use more polychromos because I was slightly shocked how badly Prismacolors behave. I didn't expect it, and yeah, I forgot my feelings from the previous coloring, and it was like discovering this page, this paper once again. The previous one, it wasn't so bad. I even lost where it was. Okay, it disappeared. Page with clouds. Sorry guys, I feel stupid. And I found it. This one. I remember that things on the table, all these yummy breakfast things, and these clouds I did with Prismacolors, and my feelings, they weren't as catastrophic as with this Christmas one. The girl, that's polychromos, yes, because I needed to do this texture. Well, anyway, after this one, I will remember that polychromos have to be choice number 1 for this book, and Prismacolors only if you need some specific colors. I will be happy to hear your opinion about which pencils you use if you have the same edition. I don't know about other books as they are printed on the same paper. Paper feels quite interesting, thick and textured, but not easy to adjust. Well, I think that with all my circumstances, selection of pictures which I did, it's lovely. I love many of them. I'm proud of many of them. And of course, I'm happy that I finished around the world book. Now I can dive into December of Christmas colorings, and then I will start another part of Mr. Fogerty Travels. I hope that it will also be a lot of fun and very relaxed coloring. Thank you for watching. I will continue to post my videos about all my colored books, about my book collection. I hope that you also will find something interesting in those videos.